Hi, my name is PREMILA ARUMUGAM. My metric number is 281901. I'm doing requirement 1, which is register account. So this is my sequence diagram in analysis phase, which is I have three boundaries, which is main page, registration page, and user information page. My entity is resident, and then my controller is managed resident controller. So this sequence diagram begins when the user presses the sign up button on the main page, and then the system will display the registration page. The user will enter their details. The user will be able to confirm registration by selecting the register button. I have my I have my alternative flow one, which is cancelled here, and then the system should verify the informations. So there is an exceptional flow one, which is enabled to complete registration, and then the system will display the user information page. The user need to enter their personal details, and then the user will click submit button. After the submission, the controller will verify the details. And then my exceptional flow 2 is incomplete registration form. After this, the controller will save the application details in the entity. And then the user need to click return button. It will send the return button, and then it will back to the main page. So this is my alternative flow 1, which is cancelled. And then this is my alternative flow 2, which is also cancelled. My exceptional flow 1 is enabled to complete registration. And then my exceptional flow 2 is incomplete registration form. So this is my sequence diagram in design phase. I have my boundary, controller, and entity, my alternative flow 1 and alternative flow 2, and my exceptional flow 1 and exceptional flow 2. So here is my communication diagram. So this is my boundary main page, registration page, user information page, and then my controller, which is managed resident, then my entity, which is resident. So the communication diagram begins here. So here is my collaboration diagram for design phase. So the boundary, controller, and then the entity, and that's all from me. Thank you.
A very good morning to Madam Norida Binti Muhammad Darus. I am Il Leon, metric number 278038. We're going to present the sequence diagrams and the communication diagrams for both analysis and design phases of the resident application page system. First of all, I'm going to share the sequence diagram for both analysis phases and the design phases for the resident application page, which is, and first, this is the sequence diagram for the analysis phase. As you can see right now, the actor is the user, boundaries are resident management page and resident application page, and the entity is resident application details, and the controller is the managed application controller. First of all, the user will click the apply resident button, followed by add a resident management page. The resident management page will send the apply resident button to the controller, and the controller will display the application page. Then the user will enter their details into the boundary, which is the resident application page, and click the submit button. After clicking the submit button, the resident application page will send the submit button to the controller, and the system controller will check the validation, whether there are incomplete application details or otherwise. And if all details has been submitted by the user has been complete and valid, the controller will save the application details into the resident application details, and the controller will display the message saying that the application has been sent successfully, and the controller will return the user to the resident management main page. As you can see right now, there is one alternative flow and one exceptional flow for the resident management system. For the alternative flow 1, cancel, the user will click the cancel button, and at the resident manage application page. And then the resident application page will send the cancel button to the controller, and the controller will return to the main page. Next, I am going to present the exceptional flow 1, which is incomplete application details. Assume that the user had clicked the submit button after filling in the details, but the details that they submitted is incomplete and or invalid. So when the submit button has been clicked, the submit button will be sent to the controller to check the validation. As I already mentioned before, if the application details are incomplete and or invalid, an error message will be displayed by the controller on the resident application page. Therefore, the user has to enter the details to make sure that all details in the application form is complete and or valid. So next, I'm going to share about the sequence diagram for the design phase of the resident application system. As you can see right now, the actor is the user. The boundaries are resident management page and the resident application page. The controller is the managed application controller and the entity is the resident application details. So that's all from me regarding the sequence diagram for both analysis and design phase for the residential application page. Now I'm going to share about the communication diagrams for the analysis and design phase of the resident application system. As you can see right now, there is one lifeline, which is user. There are two boundaries, which are resident management page and resident application page. The controller is the managed application controller and the entity is the resident application details. First, the user will click apply resident button at the resident management page. And then the resident management page will send apply resident button to the controller and the controller will display the application page. Then the user will enter the details on the resident application page and click the submit button. The submit button will be sent to the controller to check the validation of the details. If the personal details are complete, therefore a display message which is saying that the application has been sent successfully. If the validation shows that the personal details that has been written by the user is valid and incomplete, save application details will be executed from the controller to the entity, which is the resident application page details. And then the display message will be displayed showing that the application has been sent successfully. After that, the controller will return the user to the main page. If let's say the user clicks the cancel button at the resident application page, the cancel button will be sent to the controller and the controller will return the user to the resident management page. If the user enter their details and the details are incomplete and or invalid and they click the submit button will be sent to the controller for checking the validation. If, as I already mentioned before, if the validation is incomplete, therefore an error message will be displayed at the resident application page and the user has to re-enter their personal details to make sure that the details are complete and valid. So that's from the analysis phase. I'm going to switch to the design phase, which is, and you can see right now, the lifeline, boundaries, controllers, and entities are the same. So that's all from me for the communication diagrams and also the sequence diagrams for the resident application page. Thank you.
Good morning, madam. I'm MANIKAM, metric number 278328. Today, I'm going to explain about requirement 3, manage resident room in a sequence diagram of analysis phase. And here I got two boundaries. One is room management page and another one is room status page. And I have one controller, manage resident controller, and two entity. One is room information and another is resident. And first, the admin and staff. This sequence diagram will start when the admin or staff click the room management button and then it will display the room status page. And then they can select add icon on available room and enter the resident IC number. And after enter the resident IC number, they will click add button to add the resident. And here also I got the alternative one, alternative flow A1 cancel. And then after they click the add button, the system will check the IC number. And here I got exceptional flow E1 invalid IC number. And then after check the IC number, it will display added message on the screen. And after that, they get back to the main page. And here I got alternative flow A1 cancel, which means once they click the cancel button, it will display cancel message on the screen and it will go back or display the room status page. And after that, here I got the exceptional flow E1 invalid IC number. Once the system shows or display invalid IC number on the screen, the admin or staff need to enter new IC number again. And this is the sequence diagram in design phase. Here also got two boundaries named as a room management page and room status page, and one controller, manage resident controller, and two entity, room information and resident. And also got admin and staff, and also alternative flow cancel and exceptional flow invalid IC number. And in a sequence diagram of design phase, the there is no enter resident IC number in basic flow, and also enter the IC number in the exceptional flow. And here is the communication diagram or collaboration diagram of analysis phase. And here also got the admin and staff and boundary, room management page and another boundary, room status page, and also entity resident and entity room information, and also the controller of managed resident controller. And here is the communication diagram or the collaboration diagram of design phase. And here also got two boundary, the room management page and room status page, and two entity resident and room information, and also the controller managed resident controller. And here also they didn't have the enter IC number, which is the admin staff will do manually. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum to Madam Norida. My name is NAZUHA binti NIZAM and my metric number is 280472. So today I will present the requirement for managed resident management. So this is the sequence diagram for analysis phase. We have admin or staff and three boundaries, which is resident management page, residency information page, resident information page, and we have one controller, which is managed resident controller, and also one entity, which is resident. So this is the basic flow for the sequence diagram in analysis phase in managed resident management. So in basic flow, we have exceptional flow, which resident is not available, and also incomplete details, and alternative flow, delete, cancel, and no. So this is the basic flow. And then we have delete, cancel, no in alternative flow. And last one is exceptional flow for the resident not available and also incomplete details. So next one is the sequence diagram, manage resident management for design phase. So we have admin or staff, three boundaries, resident management page, residency information page, and also resident information page. And we have one entity resident and one controller, manage resident controller. So this is the basic flow. And then it is just the same as the analysis phase. And this is the flow for delete, cancel, no, resident not available, and also incomplete details. So the difference between analysis phase and design phase is actor does not enter their personal information. Actors just need to click the button that appear in the system. So next is collaboration diagram. This is communication diagram in analysis phase for managed resident management. So we have admin or staff, boundary resident management page, resident information page, and also residency information page, controller, managed resident controller, and also the entity resident. So this is for the analysis phase. And for the design phase, also the same as analysis phase. This is the communication diagram for design phase in managed resident management. So the flow for the communication diagram is based on the numbering. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nazuha. Finally, we are going to present the class diagram for the resident management system. As you can see right now, there are one controller, 11 boundaries, and 3 entities. And I will going to explain briefly about the class diagram. First of all, the managed resident controller will be used on all four requirements, which are managed resident management, managed resident role, register account, and resident application system. For the boundaries, there are resident information page, residency information page, resident management page, user information page, registration page, main page, incomplete details notification, cancellation, resident application page, room status page, and room management page. All boundaries consist of several different operations. While for the entities, there are resident, room information, and resident application details. All entities consist of attributes and also the operations. But for the room information entity and room resident application details, they have the attribute resident, which is derived from the resident entity. So that's all from our team. Thank you for watching this presentation.